Thank you, President Pelton. Thank you all. Congratulations, class of 2017. Whew. I dropped out of Emerson. After a semester and a third, my freshman year, I guess, I don't know how many of you know that. The people who invited me to give this commencement address did not. Or maybe they would have reconsidered. It's a very strange thing to drop out of a college and have them ask you to come back and give the commencement speech. It's like I somehow swiped left, but we ended up hooking up anyway. I'm honored. This is a great institution. There's actually an Emerson campus in LA now, and this may explain why after almost 4 years I'm starting to finally feel comfortable living in LA. It's filled with bright, creative, engaging people who all dropped out of Emerson. The ones who graduate, for your information, normally go to New York. We don't know why that happens. But this is a creative school, and creative people usually don't follow straight lines. So thank you, Emerson, because in my short time here, I picked up a fairly unbreakable passion for what I do and where I fit in the larger artistic continuum, and that did start here. I was a kid from Dorchester, very working class background, child of immigrants, and I'd grown up in a world where people didn't become writers or actors or singers. This was pre-Wahlberg, Dorchester. They became plumbers and lawyers and cops and farmers and electricians, or they worked for utilities, which was my dad's big hope for me. Because his theory was everybody always needs water, so you can't get fired. Get in on a utility. Or City Hall, they don't fire anybody. That was his theory. But in the final step of my journey out of the nest, I came here, and I was told that it was not only okay to love at an obsessive level literature and film and music and communication, it was encouraged. And 11 years later, I'd published a novel while still in my 20s. I don't think that would have happened if Emerson wasn't the foundational brick on that journey. My eyes were opened here, and they would never close again, and so I want to thank Emerson College and everyone associated with it for that. My father, in addition to wishing I just got a job with a utility, never understood the journey that I was on. He supported it, don't get me wrong, but he never understood it. He did not read books. He did not go to movies. Until, I think it was my 5th book was published, he was still calling me every time he heard the post office was having an exam. Or, I'm serious. Boston Gas was hiring, let me know. When I made the deal, when I sold the movie rights to Mystic River to Clint Eastwood, I called my parents, and they were in Florida, and they did that really annoying thing that parents do when they retire to Florida, which is they bought 2 phones. And so they each talk to you on one of the phones, and this is supposed to help communication, but it really doesn't. They just end up talking back and forth to each other about who's on the phone and what room they're in for some reason. That becomes an obsession. But so I called my parents and I said, I just sold the movie rights to Clint Eastwood, and my mother said, oh my goodness, Clint Eastwood. And my father said, who's Clint Eastwood? That's a true story. My father had then they lost me on the phone call. They started like, oh, Mike, you know who Clint Eastwood is? I have no idea. He was in Westerns. Was he on Bonanza? No. Then I don't know who the hell he is. My father was hardcore working class. He liked his life simple. He's steeped in routine, newspaper at the end of the day, a shot and a beer by his elbow, early to bed, early to rise, fair day's work for a fair day's pay. He worked for the same company for 35 years over in Kenmore Square. At the end of it all, they gave him a nice pension and a watch, and he thought, hey, good deal, the American dream. And then over time, they came chipping away at that pension with an army of lawyers. And then they came chipping away at the health benefits with an army of lawyers. And I remember sitting with my father as he read through their latest mandate from this company, which listed all the things they were taking away from him and my mother, both of them elderly, both of them needing it at that time, needing it more than they ever did. And he said, how can they do this? I kept up my end. And me, I'm the youngest of 5, very bottom line, always the fixer. I said, I got the money now to hire a good lawyer, Dad. I got the money to fight them. And my father said, but what if you weren't here? And how's everyone else supposed to fight this? And the answer was that they couldn't. The system, this great meritocracy we place our faith in, is, I hate to break the news to you, heavily rigged in the favor of people whose bank accounts and family fortunes our labors enrich. And it's getting more rigged every day, not less. Definitely not less. So I went to BC High, and the only thing I really can say that I got out of 4 years of Latin is the ability to occasionally quote Latin and sound cool. So I'm going to do that now. There's a phrase in Latin, cui bono, who benefits? What that means is follow the money. So I'm going to give you a metaphor. A lifelong smoker goes to the doctor. The doctor says, you have cancer, but it's only stage 2. If you quit smoking right now and we treat this aggressively, you could be cancer-free in about 2 months with an almost non-existent shot at remission. And the guy says, yeah, but I'm going to go on vacation next week, and I like to smoke when I'm on vacation, so I'll think about this and get back to you. And the doctor says, do not go on vacation and quit smoking today, or you will die. And the guy says, look, I look at my body every day in the mirror, and I don't see any cancer. And the doctor says, you're an insane idiot. And the guy says, that's your opinion. And the guy goes to another doctor, he gets the same opinion. He goes to another 97 doctors, he gets the same opinion. Quit smoking now, don't go on that vacation, or you will die. He gets to the 100th doctor, and that doctor, who smells of gin and works out of the back of a taco truck on the corner of Mass Ave and Tremont, says, nah, you're fine, go on vacation. And you know what? Switch to unfiltered while you're at it. So the guy does, and he dies 6 months later, bitching about how unfair life is. That little metaphor, ladies and gentlemen, is climate change denial. Thank you. 99.1% of all scientists agree that it is killing our planet. The 0.9% of quacks who don't are usually on a corporate payroll or irretrievably stupid. I bring this up not because climate change is one of my pet causes. It really isn't. I'm all about, in order, eradicating child abuse in all its forms, supporting Doctors Without Border, and my latest, bribing Big Papi out of retirement. For which I'll be taking donations throughout my time in the city. I've already put in $20, so don't be cheap. I bring up climate change because it's so cut and dry. But a large swath of the American populace doesn't believe it is, and they choose to side with deniers. So now we must ask ourselves, cui bono, who financially benefits from climate change denial? Well, lots of corporations and their employees and stockholders who enrich their lives and the lives of their families. And they must keep competitive with corporations in China and India and Russia and plenty of other places where they openly don't give a damn about pollution or global warming. So the only way for American corporations to compete is to follow a if you can't beat them, join them philosophy. I get that, I really do. But who financially benefits from fighting climate denial? No one. So, for the rest of your life, if you've got two sides fighting over an issue and one side has no profit incentive, you might want to consider the possibility that side is fighting from a purer place. Myths and narratives that we can get back to a past that never really existed are a cancer. The one golden age that everyone seems to reference, the glorious 1950s, which was really 1945 to 1965, was built on a wholly unsustainable lack of global competition caused by World War II. So now, there is no turning back. We have China in the fray, Japan in the fray, Germany in the fray. We have global competition. We have automation, robotics, computers, email, streaming. It's made manufacturing jobs and brick and mortar jobs obsolete. We find ourselves here right now. And the issue, I don't think, is red state, blue state, Republican, Democrat. It's about jobs, and it's about disillusionment, and it's about feeling discarded, but it's also about perspective. You either believe you're part of a collective humanity or you don't. You either have empathy for your fellow man and woman, regardless of race, regardless of race or creed or immigration status, or you don't. I heard a young guy just yesterday, I just added this in. I heard a young guy just yesterday say to his date, we were in the Back Bay, when she asked him what the poor of this country were supposed to do, he said, die or get a job. They're not my problem. Die or get a job. Forces in the media and now the highest level of government have validated this kind of hate and callous indifference to the point they've turned it into a cottage industry and simultaneously turned any expressions of empathy or mercy into symbols of weakness. We used to say, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free. Now we say, you and your children are on your own. Sorry, luck of the draw, you're the wrong color, wrong faith, wrong nationality. We do not have the time to care or the luxury of compassion. Sometimes we turn our backs in the name of Jesus, which is ironic because Jesus wouldn't have been able to immigrate here because he was from the Middle East. We used to talk of American virtues, now we talk of American rage. We are at this moment a country unmoored from its founding values. We are lost at sea, and we don't have a compass to get us back to shore. So what is it that I'm doing up here? Is this a case of I went to my college graduation and Dennis Lehane bummed me out? That's going to be the title of my summer vacation essay? That sucks. Where's the hope, you're wondering? Well, I don't got it. They don't got it. We're the old guard. We're Ned Stark. All right? Our time is mostly over. So where are you going to find hope, strength, the will to fight and stand up for what's true and valuable in this, your only life? So do me a favor. Class of 2017, stand up, all of you. In the faith I grew up in, my favorite part of the ritual of Mass was the moment when we would all offer each other a sign of peace. And it's a very simple thing. I want you to turn to the person next to you and shake their hand. And look at them. Look at them, really look at them, because they are all you got. You are the hope. All of you, right now. You can sit. The French election showed that we can turn this ugly tide back. The Netherlands election showed the same. But election's the key here. It starts with one thing, the vote. So vote. Kids your age, don't vote. Not in the numbers that matter. Vote. And if you're currently still registered in a state or a county where the politics aren't going your way, stay registered in that state or county till at least the 2018 midterms. The world can change, and the world is looking to us, but it won't change without you. And if you want to be able to love who you want and access decent health care and prevent your own cervical cancer or those of others and breathe clean air and drink clean water and have your kids have access to knowledge and grow up in a country with a free press and free speech and see that country return to embracing the best of its ideals over the worst of its fears, then you better get off your ass and vote. And if you don't, I truly have no sympathy for you, because you'll be contributing to the wreckage of the greatest country on earth and the death of the world my children will grow up in. So if you don't vote, I don't know how you'll live with yourself, but if you do vote and you mobilize and you get most of the rest of your age group to do the same, you can do something that hasn't happened in this electorate for generations. You can change the world. So go change the world. Seriously. Cheers.